The Dershow.
Let's understand what the conversation was. What President Trump said is there were some German people. There's a name for them. It's called righteous Gentiles. There's a whole pavilion for them in Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. And of course, there were some German people. Some German people sacrificed their lives to try to help Jews. Yes, some German people gave Jews bread. Nazis didn't. German people did. And you have to distinguish. And that's what they did when they talked about the righteous Gentiles. Distinguish between people. People would try to help people that were in unbelievable distress, like you know what happened in Germany. How you can make that into Trump claims Nazis treated Jewish prisoners with love is defamatory, blasphemous, mendacious, outrageous, and just dead wrong. And as a Jew who had families who was killed in the Holocaust, I am so resentful of them trying to turn Trump into a Nazi lover. Not the first time they've done this. Remember what happened in Columbia, South Carolina, where Trump made a statement that I agree with. Oh, by the way, I agree completely with what Trump said here. I endorse what Trump said. I not only don't find it deserving of condemnation, I support it. There is an enormous difference between the way some German people try to help the Jews and what's going on in Gaza. In Gaza, Israelis offered millions of dollars to Gazans, not Hamas supporters, Gazans, if they would help locate the hostages so that they could be returned. I know of no evidence, and none has been cited, of any Gazan who ever helped a hostage. And that's a fair comparison to make. There were some Germans who helped Jews. There are no Gazans who helped Jewish hostages. A fair comparison to make. I not only don't condemn Trump, I stand by him on this. I think he is 100% right. I commend him for it. And I condemn the New Republican, Yahoo, and a half a dozen other headlines that were similar to this, accusing Trump of supporting Nazism. Okay, same thing happened in Charleston, South Carolina. This is worse. But in that case, remember what Trump said. He said, there's a dispute going on about how to deal with Confederate monuments. These were heroes of the Confederate Army. These are people, some of whom died, some of whom lived. Statutes were made of them. They were on the wrong side. They supported slavery. And by the way, not all of them supported slavery. General even Lee had some ambiguity and doubts about that. But that's a different issue. There was a big dispute about what to do with the statues. Should they be left in public places without explanation? Should they be left in public places with a sign and explanation? These were people who were on the wrong side. Should they be put in museums? It was a dispute. And you know what? There were good people on both sides of that dispute. I know, because I know some of the people who were on the side of the dispute about monuments who said they should be left up or they shouldn't be destroyed. There were good people. So how did the left-wing, radical, lying media describe that story? That story was described as Trump supported the neo-Nazis who were saying, you will not replace us. He condemned them. He went out of his way to condemn them. But he didn't condemn good people who were on a side of the monument issue that other good people disagreed with. Again, Trump was right. It's not even a question of should he be condemned for it. He was right. There are good people on both sides of that issue. But talk about weaponization of the criminal justice system. I have never seen weaponization of the media as I've seen today against Donald Trump, turning him into a Nazi. There's never been a president who has been more supportive of Jews. I know I worked with him on these issues. I helped draft the executive order, which made it a violation of the civil rights law to go after people on an anti-Semitic basis in the same way as you can't do it based on gender or sexual preference or race. They included religion and included anti-Semitism. That was a good thing. That was a good thing. And what we'll talk about today too about Iran is, I think, a good thing. But look, I don't agree with everything President Trump has always said. And when I don't agree, I'm critical. But I would never, ever, ever say what the New Republic mendaciously said about him, or what the New York Times said during the Columbia, South Carolina issue. Those are just direct out and out lies. And they distort reality and the truth. They put the American media in a horrible light, and they make us distrustful. Will I ever again read the New Republic and trust them? And let me read you the name of the person. The name of the person is Martin Scotten, Scotten. Now, I don't know whether he wrote the headline, because sometimes, as you know, headlines are written by the editors. But he did say a whole bunch of things in the article which are despicable. So after he quotes correctly, people would try to help people that were in unbelievable distress. That's the quote. Now, here is Scotten's characterization. The president went on suggesting that the Nazis were known for their generosity. Does anything in there suggest anything about the Nazis known for their generosity? No. What he was saying was the Nazis put the Jews in unbelievable distress, and other people, non-Nazis, would try and help people, etc. Like you know what happened in Germany. And here's again the writer. Like you know what happened in Germany, Trump said, and then here's the writer, absurdly comparing the hostage situation to the Holocaust, which murdered 6 million people. There's no comparison. Nobody suggested a comparison. The only suggestion was sitting around with 10 people in the Oval Office, family members and people who have themselves been hostages, saying, did they help you at all? Did anybody from Gaza, anybody who was keeping you captive? Remember, some of these people were kept in ordinary homes. Did they offer you a piece of bread? Did they give you a smile? No, nothing. In Germany, at least some people, righteous Gentiles, not enough of them, did something. But the people of Gaza, these innocent people of Gaza, did they do anything? No. Trump is 100% right. And I hope he's watching this show, because I want you to know I support what you said here 100%. And I want to hear from my listeners to see if anyone disagrees with that and thinks that what Trump said somehow glorifies the Nazis, or claims that the Nazis think that, again, the headline, just I have to read it again. Trump claims Nazis treated Jewish prisoners with love. Even the word with is wrong. There isn't a syllable. There isn't a space between the words. That's true. Every single word of that is a lie. And then the newspapers say, oh my God, we're so worried the Supreme Court may take away our right of free speech and deny us the protection of malice. You have frittered away the trust of the American public. Your Trump derangement syndrome has so influenced and affected the way you report that your reporting is deserving of nothing but the greatest contempt.